Back at it again. It's the state of football here on Friday, October 30th, your new home for real football talk in the mornings. Of course, RIC and a place to be here at the Jersey Shore, broadcasting live around the globe across all of our social media platforms, brought to you by NFLDraftBible.com. Of course, my co-host John Murphy on hurricane hiatus down there. Shout out to all of our Gulf Coast people. I did talk to John. He does not have power yet. He's trying to work his way back to the program here. But we do have Big Law, Lawrence Johnson, 7 City Shop Talk, as we do each and every Football Friday on a jam-packed edition. Big Law, good morning to you. How are you today?
What's going on, man?
Oh, what's not going on?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a Friday. Also, it's Halloween Eve, so get to talk about that a little bit as well. I know you got some little ones there. You know, I got to see, or I got to hear what they're going to be for the Halloween holiday. So I'm excited about all of it. Big football weekend as always, and you know, it's just that time, man. I'm the fall always has me giddy. You know, every time a Thursday, Friday roll around, you know, all the games are stacking up. It's like, oh man, you know, I'm just excited about it.
Especially a football Friday. We've got a big clash with the Steelers and Ravens on tap. We'll talk about that. Saints and Bears with playoff implications. We're going to find out, separate the contenders from the pretenders. And man, oh man, if you're an NFL draft, Nick, what a Friday night on tap. I mean, some of the games on deck that we're going to talk about in just a second here. There's a slew of NFL draft prospects. We'll get to that. Of course, NCAA around the league. Trevor Lawrence with the COVID. We'll talk about with his latest situation. Because
I don't know. I mean, that's an odd one there. We'll talk about that. That's a game we'll review. But what do you think? I mean, about something like that? I mean, the number one pick. I mean, the president, number one pick. Nobody's immune.
No. Indeed. Well, we'll talk about it. There's some confliction about his availability. We'll clarify that situation. Kylan Hill, another one there in the Mississippi State doghouse. It looks like he has really escaped the doghouse because he's left the program. We'll talk about what that means for his draft stock. And then, hey, last night, Thursday Night Football, the Falcons found a way to hold on to the win. Hey, you got to give Raheem Morris this, the pride of Orange, New Jersey. By the way, he's got them playing good ball. He's now 2-1. They really should have won all 3 games because Gurley didn't know how to fall down properly and run out the clock. But, I mean, any chance here now? Obviously, everything's under review. But should Atlanta consider removing that interim tag? Raheem Morris, last time we saw him, head coach of the Buccaneers, he's done his time now. Maybe he deserves a second shot.
I think Arthur Blank is ready to clean house, really. But I think it's almost like a team that has too much talent to clean house. They're so loaded on the offensive end, and this is an offensive league, and at any time that team can explode and can win 5-6 games in a row. I think Raheem Morris should stay. And being that he's a defensive skewed kind of a coach, I think that's what they need is more of a defensive. He's a defensive backs coach, right? So him being the defensive backs coach, I think that's something that him being a defensive coach, I think that's something that they'll have to focus on. And I'm just looking for them to hold on to more games and to play a little bit tougher. And I'm not sure if they should replace him, but right now I think he's what they need to go with.
Yeah, and shout out to David Turner, Robin Backsab there in Buffalo. David Turner, who joins us regularly. Hey, legitimate question, DT. This guy has got the team playing well after they were laying duds. So he's doing something. He's doing something there, and they should have won all 3 games. So, hey, shout out to all of our chat room people there on Facebook, Twitterverse, Periscope, Instagram. Get down on it, baby. Yes. David's up in Arizona. We got Big Law down in Virginia. We got the Jersey Shore going crazy with the hurricane status. It's been raining all week. I don't understand what's going on in this crazy 2020 world. But, hey, Falcons take care of business there. The Panthers had a chance at the end. Teddy Bridgewater throwing the pick there to the bleedy blah. And there you have it with that. Now, we mentioned Tua on tap later on. We're going to talk NFL. What's interesting there, Big Law, is he's going to get a chance to face Burrow and Herbert this season.
I like that.
That's interesting. That's really fun.
And I think, they probably would have loved to have been able to sell tickets for those games because, you got the top young quarterbacks in the league going at it for this past draft. And, not to take spotlight off of Tua, but Joe Burrow looks like the real deal. And Justin Herbert looks like the real deal. I think Justin Herbert is a better pro quarterback, just my opinion, than he was as a college quarterback. Mm-hmm. Just based on the way that he's playing, and seems like they have a system that really works for him. And he's putting up numbers, and he's looking impressive. And then Joe Burrow, of course, he's doing his Joe Burrow thing. He's being efficient. He's moving the ball. He's making sure that he's moving the ball around as well. I just excited to see these young quarterbacks that come into the league, and then there's some more guys coming in on tap. Now let's not leave Tua on the shelf. Now I think Tua, him coming in and playing and getting some experience, and it's odd because typically you're not going to take your veteran out when your team is winning, and the team is actually winning, and I get why Ryan Fitzpatrick was upset about the change out. But, if Tua is ready, and if Tua can give you everything that Ryan was giving you, plus a little bit more, I guess as a franchise, you want to get that new situation jump started right now.
Well, he's got more upside. We'll see. I mean, this is a team, like you said, they're still in the playoff hunt. So, they're going to look to bust open that big can of Tua and get some deep sea fish.
In water, or is it in vegetable oil? Tuna in water.
All right, the State of Football here, brought to you by NFLDraftBible.com. Make sure you go all access. We've got a lot of great content, daily content now. The NFL Draft Bible back at it again, banging you and bopping you over the head. If you subscribe now, you see that book behind me, Scout Speak by our good friend Neil Stratton. We've still got a few copies left. We'll drop it in the mail. Go all access. Take advantage of our boom. Hey, boom, boom, boom. There it is. Got it.
Got to get onto this as well, guys. This right here is your best friend. Some of these names we're talking about, you might not know about.
Yep.
Go in it and check it out. It'll give you a really good idea of what's going on, what players are doing good in the league right now. And then there's also a section of who's next kind of a thing, correct?
Oh, yeah. And this year, we're going to add all kinds of historical data. We're going to have all-decade teams for each NFL organization from the past decade. We'll have NFL all-decade team. We'll take a look at historical draft data because we won't stop here at the NFL.
That's right.
Oh, my God. It's a Football Friday. Don't forget tomorrow, the NFL Draft Tailgate Show. Whoa, 10 a.m. Eastern, college football pregame with an NFL draft slant. But let's talk a little bit about those NCAA games on tap for tonight. Minnesota at Maryland. We've got Big Ten action on a Friday night. This one, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And, Rashad Bateman is back with the team after opting out. He's back in now. I think this is a legitimate first-round talent, Big Law. The Gophers have not had a player selected in the first round since 2006. And Tanner Morgan is another guy, the junior quarterback. I don't know if he's thinking about declaring this year. I think he has potential to be a very good backup. I don't know if I view him as a starter at the next level. But the Gophers here now, off to that slow start against Michigan past week. They lost handedly. Any thoughts, though, on that tandem of Morgan and Bateman? They're a good-looking combination.
Well, Minnesota's doing better than I would have expected. They typically have been the doormats to the Big Ten, and the Big Ten is what it is now that they're back on track and playing games. Now, another doormat who has been a doormat is Maryland. And Maryland, who is a school that I will cover as well. I haven't covered them. I didn't cover them last year, but before I covered them for like 3 years straight. But I was hoping to see a lot of good things from Coach Mike Locksley. I like the guy. I really do. I think he's a hell of a recruiter. but there's some things that's just not clicking there. And I mean, it's Maryland, it's DeMatha, it's all these schools right there in the DMV, and I mean, Virginia, everywhere. There's just talent all over the place. Then you got the Pennsylvania and all this stuff in the Northeast that they can get to as well. I'm just surprised that the team isn't doing better, under his tutelage. But I'm looking for Minnesota to just put the work in on them. That they only put up 3 points last week. I was surprised by that as well. But yeah, I don't see them getting anywhere close to beating Minnesota. Minnesota is an improved team. They do have a couple studs, and I'm just kind of disappointed with Maryland. I want to see how they can actually do better, for this game. Not win, but do better is what I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this game's going to be a blowout. And to your point on Maryland, I mean, the whole Randy Edsall experiment was a disaster, right?
Yeah.
Bring in DJ Durkin and that whole thing with the player dying on the I mean, that was horrible. And so they start wondering, like, hey, do recruits really want to go to a program, like that? And so now you've got to change that whole identity, and it takes time to, make – as Turner said with Atlanta, you got to change the culture. Well, Maryland is trying to change the culture and the perception, but I just don't see it. I don't think they have the ammunition, the firepower, or the talent to keep up with Minnesota here. Again, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. Oh, by the way, tonight, later on, you can switch back and forth on ESPN2, 9 p.m. East Kakalaka at Tulsa. ECU here going down to Tulsa on the road. We talked about Zach Smith. He's on the NFLPA Bowl watch list now. We've talked about Zaven Collins there, the Tulsa defense. Collins, I think, putting himself in that top 100 situation. And then the big-bodied, lengthy, physical corners in Allie Green IV and Caleb Evans, who's a junior. All of these guys are on the NFL radar. This Tulsa team, the Golden Hurricanes, they are locked and loaded here.
Yeah, how fitting. The Hurricanes, Golden Hurricanes. And, it's interesting that it's good that they can get a game going on based on what they've gone through down there on the Gulf Coast or just the state of Louisiana. But I did catch my man Brian Thweet on the who played for UVA, who's the linebackers coach for ECU. I just caught him yesterday on his way down for the flight, and I'm thinking that it's Tulsa is they definitely are loaded. For a non-big time college football program to have that many NFL talents on it is a little bit odd, and they're they're right now there are one of the teams that I do have on my watch list to see how well that they do towards the end of the year, but. To be fair, ECU is another school that I cover, and ECU has a stud left-hander who's kind of in the Tebow mode as far as how he's built, Mr. Holton Ahlers himself, and he's a baller, he's a gamer, he's a little untraditional, in the way that he plays, but he'll scramble on you, he'll try to run you over. He's a big kid, he's about 6'4", 240 pounds. The kid can move, and they have a big bruising back, Rajah Harris, who a freshman coming in and leading the team in rushing. I'm just looking forward to a great game. I mean, he has a couple Holton Ahlers and a couple receivers. You guys remember the name Ricky Pro? His son Blake Pro plays for them, and then they have another slot receiver, Tyler Sneed, who leads the team in receptions. But I think Tulsa's too much. I think Tulsa has too much talent. I mean, as much as I want to pull for an ECU program who's close to us, but I just see Tulsa just being just too overwhelming, especially with their defense as well. With those corners and then the quarterback as well, Zach Smith, and the running back Deneric Smith, and Stokes and Crawford Jr. Those guys are studs as well. They're loaded. You could really see over the next couple of years that they probably have about 5 or 6 guys going to the league off of this team.
Well, Louisiana is such a hotbed for NFL talent. I mean, you if you can just recruit the 3 stars from in-state, you just take the guys LSU doesn't want.
That's right.
You could field a pretty impressive team, and we're seeing that. We're seeing that with the roster assembled here.
Yeah, it's kind of like not so long ago when you had before these Central Floridas and South Floridas and all these popped up. You had like, the Tallahassee, you had the Florida States, the Miamis and the Miami's, Florida States, and wherever the kids
see all these.
And whenever those kids didn't make those rosters,
mm-hmm.
They would go to them other Florida schools, and all of a sudden it's like you still see residual from, especially with Central Florida, just kids just going to these other Florida schools and making the program great.
Well, I know you kind of had a far eye on my Rutgers boys on last Saturday.
Yeah.
And now Shiano's gonna fence the garden over here and keep all that talent in state, and
man. Yeah, I mean, but they've been, Rutgers. Actually, the Northeast period has always gotten rated for their football talent.
Absolutely.
I mean, the basketball talent, will sometimes stay home a little bit or stay somewhere in the Northeast region, Midwest region, but football, man, some kids just leave and go all over the place and play, when it comes to football. And there's a lot of talent up there, but maybe it's because it's not like a true powerhouse football program in the Northeast.
I mean, listen, college football is an afterthought. You got like here in the tri-state, you got the Giants, you got the Jets, you got the Yankees, you got the Mets, you got the Rangers, you got the Devils, you got the Islanders, you got the Nets, you got the Knicks. So, college football is way down on the totem pole here in the Northeast. But hey, I appreciate the Blake Prohl dropping the name there. I wasn't aware he was there on ECU. A big law giving us a name to keep an eye on here for tonight's matchups. And again, that's ECU at Tulsa on ESPN2 at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then really, get your trigger finger ready, because on Fox Sports 1 at 9:45, you will have Hawaii at Wyoming. And, the Rainbow Warriors here, I don't know if they have any home games. I guess nobody wants to travel out to Hawaii. But I got to look at their schedule so far. I think they've played about 3 or 4 games. Every game has been on the road. But you know what? We'll take the Mountain West where we can get it now. I don't know if you've seen him, though.
I haven't.
This Chad Cordero kid. He was a freshman last year. He actually was put ahead of Cole McDonald at a certain point of the season. He actually won the starting job as a freshman over Cole McDonald, who was there as a 3 or 4 year starter. And they've got a transfer that everybody loves in the scouting community, Rico Bussey Jr. from North Texas. He transferred, and this is a guy that NFL teams had a day 2 grade on coming into the season. He was out all last year. He missed the entire year, and he transferred to Hawaii. Look for Cordero to Bussey. Hey, everybody, tune in to the State of Football here weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, and then the tailgate show on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 6 days a week. Pull out the 6-pack for the tailgate 6 days a week here on the Monday. Okay, 6 a.m. Man, Big Law's in the house here for a Football Friday. What's on your mind today, Big Law? I know you want to get something on your chest. Tell the people how you're feeling.
Well, right now, I'm just, it's Friday. I'm ready for this weekend to get started. I don't want to be
Friday night.
Exactly. And then I'm going to I'm going to do a show. UVA plays UNC, and we're going to get into that as well a little bit. But I'm going to cover that as well at the Drury Plaza, like I did a few weeks ago. And I'm going to do a pregame. I'm going to do a halftime and a post. And we're going to talk about that. I'm just ready to get this sports weekend started.
Absolutely. Make sure you follow Big Law, 7 City Shop Talk Sports. He's on your radio. He's on your TV show. He's here on the State of Football every Friday. Oh, man. I can't wait till the sun falls and the football starts tonight and the whole weekend, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday Night Football. Oh, my God. All right, so it's all brought to you by the NFLDraftBible.com. Put that beautiful promo up there, Samantha, for the people at home. Put that promo up there. Save 50% right now, our listening audience. Look at that beautiful. We're going to double down. The book's going to be twice the size. There's 68 scouting reports in that book. We're going to hit 800 this year. And the Draft Bible crew is cranking. Actually, if you follow us today, I'm putting all the scouting report ads that we're accumulating in the database, the virtual draft guide. I mean, we're up to 300 prospects. It's only Halloween. Whoa, wait until we get to April. Hey.
Yeah.
On location across the nation. Of course, don't forget, I'll be leaving the Jersey Shore, heading out to San Diego. Oh, the hub, November 14th. We've got, the Don Yee free agent NFL workout camp out there. Make sure you keep it locked. Excuse me. On the NFL Draft Bible for all the player confirmations. Got a couple of former first-round picks coming out there to showcase their talent. So we'll be announcing that one. Boom! All right. NCAA weekend. We talked about it. Clemson's now got to be about it. Minus Trevor Lawrence tests positive for COVID-19. And here, the ACC protocol is you must sit out for at least 10 days, minimum. Okay, so there's no guarantee now that he's going to test negative after those 10 days. But according to my understanding, and shout out to Ian Rappaport had this morning. And, man, I haven't watched Good Morning Football in so long. What a brutal watch. I mean, that's a tough watch.
Yeah.
If you want real football talk in the morning, you're tuned in right here, right now. The state of football. God bless. But anyway, Ian Rappaport told us that Lawrence will be on the cusp of being able to come back next weekend for that big Notre Dame matchup. But there's, some uncertainty now if he will be back for that Notre Dame game. And I got news for you. I'm putting Clemson on upset alert this week against Boston College. And they could lose not one, but maybe 2 games here, Big Law. And this is done.
Well, I can tell you one thing. Phil Jerkovich, who, speaking of Notre Dame, was a Notre Dame Fighting Irish player the year before and the year before that. He's used to these big games. He's seen the atmosphere. He's been in it before, and I think he's just licking his chops now, because I think that he feels like, and Clemson is Clemson. Even though they lost Trevor Lawrence, they still have that defense. They still have those defensive backs back there. Those studs. I'm skeptical of some of the play. They're going to bring in, as far as Clemson, they're bringing in a new quarterback, their young quarterback DJ Uiagalelei, I believe.
You nailed that one. You nailed that one, baby.
Yeah. So he's going to come in and he's going to get first, the first shot at trying to move his offense similar to how Trevor does it. He's a monster. He's a huge kid. He's a huge quarterback, young but very talented. I can tell you the program is going to be left in good hands when Trevor decides to leave. But this is in the thick of college football hysteria, and right in the middle of the season, and the team is in stride. I don't know if he's in stride with them as well. And when you get that, you get some rhythms off. Amari Rodgers is on fire right now. He's expecting the ball to come out a certain way. Maybe the ball's going to come out not so well. Tip ball, interceptions, run backs. He may hold the ball a little bit longer. Boston College is primed to upset this team. I know Travis Etienne is running, decently, running well as he always does. But I'm looking for, the second receiver. I need to see the second receiver from Clemson step up. As explosive as they are, it's been the Etienne and Amari Rodgers show. There's too much talent on that roster to just use those two or depend on those two. They need, I think, more of the team to step up now that Trevor Lawrence isn't there to try to ease some of this pressure to get some more points on the board against a team that, like you said, is prime. Between Zay Flowers and Hunter, this team is ready, man. This team is ready to make a move. They got 5 receivers with more than 13 catches. All right, they got 2 guys with in the 20s and 30s, and they got a lot of guys that are 3 other guys that are 13 and up in the 20s. So he spreads the ball around. He's a baller, Mr. Phil Jerkovich.
Jerkovich is ready for the prime time, like you said. I mean, that's the story of an underdog right there. Notre Dame saying, "Hey, we like Ian Book better than you, So he's now up at Chestnut Hill, and he's going to be looking to prove himself. Absolutely. Get off
That
me.
chip.
Hey, and you know what? It's going to be a contrast of two different styles for this game specifically because I think Clemson's going to be looking to feed at the end, kill the clock, kill the time, just get out of there with the lead. And here comes Boston College spraying the ball around with that up-tempo, high-powered offense of theirs. They've been in a lot of close games. They're ready for this one. Of course, Amari Rogers, who you mentioned, was featured in our Scouting the Nation article that we publish every Monday, one of our cool weekly features that we're starting to throw up on the NFLDraftBible.com. We also now syndicate the Mav Sports Take podcast every Wednesday. And then Thursday now with the Rise and Draft, Ryan Roberts has his NFL Draft mailbag answering your draft questions. And, of course, tonight, Friday Night Scout School with Ryan Roberts and David Turner. They'll be breaking down the offensive tackle position. Last week they did the interior offensive lineman. Today they're going to do the exterior offensive lineman. And shout out to Bob Wiley because he joined us a few weeks back with Brian Baldinger to do our offensive line seminar on the NFL side, Baldy's Breakdowns. And, man, that was just so much fun. What a blast that was. Big Law, we're going to have to get you access to that, man. It's a fun time. But, make sure you sign up for all of our seminars. That 50% promo code that you see, Familia50, that's good for the entire website. So you want the all-access membership, you want a Baldy Breakdown seminar, you want Friday Night Scout School, give it a shot. We've got scouts in the league asking us for these seminars just so they can learn, educate themselves, get better. I don't care how good of an evaluator you are. You can always improve your eye, sharpen your skill set, understand, and get a better concept of what to look for. Hey, shout out to all of our chat room people in the building. That's what we do here for all the people here on social media.
We got a lot of people in the club, man. We got a lot of
oh, man. Woo. We're going to have to bring back the dance party at the end of these episodes. If you tuned in on last year's draft countdown during draft week, we got the draft party at the end of the music going at the end of every show. Everybody, well, not everybody, got up out of their chair and was dancing. I couldn't get John Murphy up, but we got a couple people get out of their chair. So we might have to explore bringing that back.
Yes, sir.
Capping off our show. We're having too much fun here. 30 down, 30 to go. It's another hour of power. Buckle up, double chin strap kind of day. Double Football Friday triple header? Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? The wife's not going to be happy this weekend. Let's go. What else? NCAA. What other games you want to talk about here, Big Law?
Oh, well, we're going to talk about the oldest rivalry in the South. Football rivalry in the South, and that's my UVA Cavaliers against the UNC Tar Heels. And this is a good one. I think the schedule, the records don't tell the story of what you see. You see UVA at 1-4. You see Carolina at 4-1. I don't think that really tells you exactly what's going on. Now, I get it. UNC is the name. They're the highly ranked team. They have the talent. They have everything that you would want in a rising, highly ranked program with a stud quarterback, two amazing running backs. One, Mr. Javonte Williams, who's the number one tackle breaker, in the nation. He averaged almost 5 broken tackles a game. He broke 11 tackles last game, And, people, when I talk to people, about sports and we talk about running backs, NFL, what to look for, what's good. My evaluation, vision and the ability to break tackles and short quickness. All right. Those things right there. If you have a running back who has the vision, who can see holes, has great peripheral vision, also is quick in the first 20, 30, yard burst and can break tackles, you got a stud there. And those are hard to find. That kind of a combination on a running back are hard to find, but he is that. My opinion, he's right behind ATN because ATN is similar. He has the vision. He breaks tackles. Except ATN, I know, both of them have good speed, but ATN, of course, has really good speed. But I'm looking for UVA, with their quarterback back, Mr. Brendan Armstrong, Mr. Lefty himself coming in and just getting more comfortable. They gave Miami a go last week, losing 14-19. They played a lot tougher than a lot of people would think. I think the defense is starting to gel the way that they did last year. And, you got NFL prospect, Mr. Charles Snowden. You got Noah Taylor, another 6'4", talented stud who plays similar to the role Isaiah Simmons played for Clemson. He kind of plays all over the field for the Wahoos. And then they got a stud in the middle. Now, if UVA is going to pull off this upset, which I'm calling for, upset alert.
Whoa!
I'm calling for, okay?
Whoa!
I'm going to have to pull it up. The fourth side.
Well,
okay.
There it is.
There it is. I'm calling it. It's
Wow.
going to be an upset. I think that Bronco Mendenhall has got the defense starting to click. But that front seven and I think that they're starting to play the game that they're used to playing for the past 2-3 years to really bring this program back. The key though is based on 2 or 3 players. One in particular, Mr. Jawan Briggs, stud sophomore nose tackle, plays the 0 or the 1 technique. 6'2", about 310. The man is an animal. If he can control in 2 gap that center and make sure that that the cutback lanes for these 2 running backs, Mr. Javonte Williams and Michael Carter, who both are all world, they're both going to rush for 1,000 yards this year. If they can kind of control that, similar to how Aleem McNeil controlled the game against everybody he plays, I think that this team could pull off the upset. They got to make Sam Howell one-dimensional, or make UNC one-dimensional, and make Sam Howell throw the ball. He can beat you now, but UVA can put pressures on you. They can do different things. They got to get back to sacking the quarterback. So I'm looking for a good game right now. UNC is a 7-point favorite. I'm looking for a 3-point win for the Wahoos. Just calling.
Mac Brown, you're on upset alert, brother. Get ready. The Cowboys are coming. They're going to come for those Star Hills, Virginia, North Carolina. You heard it here first. Big Law brought it to you. The upset alert here on the State of Football. Weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, your new home.
Coming to the mountain.
Football talk in the mornings. We mentioned all the great new content on the NFLDraftBible.com. Just this morning, we posted an update on Kylan Hill. What a roller coaster that Mississippi State football program has been, and they could not draw Alabama at any worse time here. Number 2 Alabama licking their chops with Clemson being on the upset alert. Wahoo, Robin, you got it. The deal is here. Kylan Hill came out like gangbusters first game of the season, almost 200 total yards. Draft stock was looking good. He's making all plays out of the backfield. That very next game against Arkansas, I think it was, he gets 1 touch, 1 carry. 200 total yards, he gets 1 touch. Then the game after that, I think Kentucky, the first time in Mike Leach history, the offense can't even put a point on the board. They don't even score a touchdown. And so you hear now our friend Ross Dellinger, a friend of the show, reported Kylan Hill just, went off. I don't know if he went off on Leach, went off on the whole team, but he just basically blew a gasket after that Kentucky game, and we haven't heard from him since. In fact, Mike Leach hasn't even heard from him. He said, I haven't heard from the guy. He was nowhere to be seen 2 weeks ago against Texas A&M. They had the bye week. Still hasn't reported to the team. Says, I haven't heard from him. As far as I know, he's headed for the draft. I haven't heard from him. So, when you're an evaluator now, here's a guy kind of day 2 category, right? But now you have to wonder, what's really going on? If you've got a problem, you've got to be man enough to come into your coach's office and say, hey, coach, this is what's going on. You don't throw a hissy fit and then just disappear. So now I'm investing all this money in you. I've got a feeling now, depending on how the draft process goes for him, and I think team interviews now are going to be critical. Because character is going to be a concern, and I could see him still going day 2. I could see him going day 3. I could see him going even undrafted. At this point at the running back position.
Well, I've trained, I've coached, kids college bound high school kids, and I tell them all the time, my lesson to them, I said, sure, we can talk about your talent, your physical gifts, whatever. I said one of the most important traits you can have about yourself is self-awareness. Okay? If you have self-awareness, you can do anything. If you have self-awareness, you know where you're short, you know where you're good, you know where you have to improve. Okay? If you know that you are an emotionally charged child or kid or man or whatever, you know that, okay, I got to make sure I check myself because I got to know where I am in this situation. Self-awareness is everything, especially when you don't hold the cards. So, make sure that you are self-aware, young men. Okay, that's the first thing that I need to get out there. Because if you're self-aware, you'll know your weaknesses, you'll know your strengths, you know what you have to improve on. And that's a situation with Mr. Hill, Mr. Kylan Hill, not being self-aware, making mistakes, and maybe something that he can't avoid, something he can't deal with. But there's always something out there, someone out there who's going to help you, or especially someone in his position. College athletes have so many things at their disposal, in this time that we're living in, that he just needs to go to someone on the staff, even if it's a family member, anyone. Talk to them, figure out what's going on. Don't leave your post, okay? There are thousands of young athletes wanting to take your position, and they will take it, and you'll be an afterthought. All these players that my man Rick evaluates, we say 700 players or 600 plus reports, 700 players scouted. These are NFL type talents. There's a lot of players who aren't NFL type talents that can still take your position. I'm just saying, be smart, young man. Self-awareness is key. That's all I got to say about that.
Great advice. I mean, hey, I couldn't have said it any better myself. Big Law dropping knowledge here, dropping draft gems, drafting coaching gems. I'd say this. There's still hope for Kylan Hill, right? Because I've been up since 4 a.m. I've been watching NFL Network a little too long today. They had the Steve Smith story though, the biography they do and stuff. And you look at kind of a high-tempered guy at Utah. I think first practice he gets thrown out. Says, what's wrong? He's crying after practice. He said, "Coach, this is all I got. I'm all in. Like, I don't give a F. I'm crazy like that." And he goes to Carolina, and you see it like not once but twice, punches 2 teammates in the face, right? And they eventually have to. He's such a strong personality that they eventually have to get rid of him to let Cam Newton grow and flourish. But he goes on to Baltimore, has a strong finish to his career. He's a borderline Hall of Famer. So my point is, I don't know if that was a good example or not, but the guy still went on and had an NFL Hall of Fame career. So, Kylan Hill's a talented player. But you've got to know what you're reeling in here when you catch that big haul and you invest the top 100 pick. What are we getting? What are we getting mentally? What are we getting personally? What are we getting inside our locker room? Because now he's the 8th player to leave that program since the season started.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some kind of schism going on in that locker room. And Mike Leach said, "Hey, don't be surprised if there's more to come now."
well, you know what? Mike Leach is looking for a certain type of student
athlete. And he'll lock you up in that closet now.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It's Halloween too. Look, listen, Mike Leach. Hey, I'm kind of for the coach. When it comes to things like this, I get it. It's if it's not for you, there are transfer opportunities, transfer rules out there for you. NCAA, whatever you got to deal with. If you don't want to be in the program, you can leave. All right. You don't have to leave in a certain way. You can leave and do it professionally into the transfer portal. Thank everybody like a lot of the athletes do. Thank you, for giving me an opportunity, but I'm going to take my talents across the world, somewhere else, across the country. Do something like that, okay? Just don't leave and no show in, I guess they're saying, with a ghost, a Division I program was giving you a scholarship. But, but right along with that, I think that a lot of these kids just, got to understand where they are in the position, and as Mike Leach goes, I think I'm not gonna go against what he is, because I've seen a program that was in the doldrums, that was terrible. UVA, they were, terrible. And I've seen a program where Bronco Mendenhall came from BYU, came in with a system a lot of people thought would not go well with a lot of the talent in Virginia, especially in the Hampton Roads and some of the other urban cities. Would he be able to pull talent, or would he become popular? The state, and would he be able to pull, talent from the state? He's done a great job in turning the program around, and recruiting has really started to go well for them. And then, they went to a New Year's Six bowl last year, from a perennial 3-19, to a New Year's Day bowl. That's something that I've seen firsthand and been a part of. So, do what your coaches tell you. Really, they if they don't win, they have your best interest at heart. So do what your coaches tell you, guys. And if you can't, just leave professionally and try and try to go somewhere else. Do it the right way.
And we'll continue to monitor that Kylan Hill situation, obviously, as we get closer to the draft. Anything else on the NCAA docket, or can we flip the page?
Let's go pro.
Let's flip it and reverse it here on the State of Football. We're going to transition from college to pro. Of course, weekday, 9 a.m. Eastern, your new home for real football talk in the mornings. It's brought to you by the NFL. I got ahead of myself. NFLDraftBible.com. Subscribe now. Go all access. Get a free copy of the Scout Speak book. Get the hard copy book. Also, get access to our premium insider content that we're going to be unveiling. We've got a lot of changes going on the website. We are going to blow everybody out of the water. And just like we do at the seminars, we're always a fine educational institute when it comes to player evaluation. This week, Wednesday, we had the defensive line seminar with Brian Baldinger. He broke down Julius Peppers, Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt from Vintage J.J. Watt. And then tonight, we've got another star-studded affair. David Turner, Ryan Roberts, they're going to do the offensive tackle. Get off me throwing guys out the club. Speaking of the Friday nights, the offensive tackles just throwing guys around. So make sure you log on. Use our promo code Familia50. Familia. It's a family affair here on the NFL Draft Bible. Go ahead.
Got a question. Are those seminars, do you have any of those recorded where somebody joins? They can get and listen and watch some of these things?
Great question, Big Love. We now have the archives.
There we go.
Go get the season pass to either the Baldy's breakdowns or the Friday night seminars, which is the best value. You get access. You unlock the magic to everything. And for Baldy, we've already ran through all the offensive positions. Now we're working our way into the defense. Mm-hmm. And Friday night scout schools every Friday, right up until the new year. This whole calendar year, I think this is our episode 16, and we've still got 10 more to go. So it's a lot of fun. I've learned a lot from it. And hey, NFL Draft Bible, we've been bringing the names you need to know first since 2002. It's what we do. Mm-hmm. I'm learning. It's been incredible for me to just get all these perspectives and experiences. And David Turner, who's been a scout and executive and a 3-time champion, and get inside his mind. And then Brian Baldinger played a decade in the league, undrafted, survived a decade in the league. And so you get that perspective, and nobody breaks it down better than Baldy. It's good to see him out there on the NFL Network. They're getting more involved now and doing more analysis. So it's good to see that. But let's dive into the NFL Showdowns. I've got a few interesting news and notes to go around the league that I wanted to read off. And just, like I said, we want to educate the audience. If you came around off of this show a little bit smarter, well, then, hey, we're doing our job here. But just some interesting things as we enter week 8. As you know, it's been a scoring affair at an unprecedented level. 5,329 points scored is the most in NFL history through 7 weeks. You like the over, fellas? 50.8 total points a game on average. It feels like 100, though. And overall, you got 7 teams in the league averaging over 30 points a game. That hasn't happened since 1970. That's 50 years ago. Wow. And then, the other thing, Russell Wilson, third player in NFL history to reach 250 touchdowns in his first 9 seasons. I know David Turner's going to love that one. But the only other 2 people to do that are Peyton Manning and Dan Marino. I mean, Russell Wilson, when it's all said and done, I mean, he could retire today and he's probably a Hall of Famer, but this is a Hall of Fame resume that Wilson is compiling here. And then, you talk about, we always like to keep our tabs on the rookies. Justin Jefferson in Minnesota, 537 receiving yards, leads all rookies. He's only the 4th player in NFL history to have at least 100 receiving yards in 3 of his first 6 games. So, and there's some elite level company there, as is, I know we're short on time, so I'm going to fly through this. Myles Garrett, this guy is a gangbuster. 6 consecutive games with a sack, 4th season with a forced fumble. Big Law, he's got 9 sacks and 4 forced fumbles already this year. And so, and wait, so check this out. Sacks became an official stat in 1982. That's all the data that we have to go back to. But in through his first 45 games, here's who's had more sacks: Reggie White, Derek Thomas, Von Miller, right? But surprisingly, Aldon Smith. But Myles Garrett is in some very high company. If he stays healthy and continues to do this, wow.
Well, he's a cyborg. Have you ever seen him like just on TV, like in his uniform? And you see him in his uniform, he does not look like any other player on the field. When you see Myles Garrett. So his physical gifts are unreal. And then we're talking defensive end. The man has an incredible get off, but what's even more important is his second move after his get off. The man is untouchable. He can spin, he can go under and club, he can swim, and he has an incredible repertoire of moves that, and then if he needs to just old school bull rush like a Ryan Kerrigan, he can bull rush you and put the tackle right in your lap, quarterback. So I'm just saying, he's unreal, on the outside. And the equivalent to him is Aaron Donald. I think they're neck and neck right there, because Aaron Donald is everything that you would think or what you would want from a defensive tackle. He's just not 6'4", 320 pounds. He's actually 6'1", 290 pounds. And he's just as effective and just as explosive. It's just coming more direct right up the middle. So they are as disruptive as you can be in this league. I think they're the top 2 players. But yeah, Myles Garrett looks like a cyborg. As soon as he steps off the bus, you see him. His uniform does not fit the same on any other players that you see in the league. And I'm just interested to see them go at it. They have Las Vegas, okay? The Las Vegas Raiders. Viva Las Vegas. So Las Vegas Raiders, all right, at 3-3, are coming in with David Carr back on track. Now, I think in order for them to truly see their full potential, they need to get Josh Jacobs running. He's down. He's not running, the way that you're used to seeing him run as far as getting the yards. Only averaging 3.8 yards a carry, which is low for him. But Derek Carr, Derek Carr is back on on game, doing a great job at spreading the ball around. He has a stud tight end, Mr. Waller, who's catching everything in the world. He's also garnering some double teams. You see some corners go out on him a little bit, depending on if they flex him out or whatever formations they got him going with. But I'm looking for him to continue to be a stud tight end. I love my tight ends that can catch and run and also block. But also look for Henry Ruggs, who just got back to the team as well, to give them that super deep threat. The guy ran a 4.33, Rick? Henry Ruggs ran a 4.33, something like that.
Don't blink, you might miss him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's, they needed that element to stretch the field, because the tight end is kind of like an LJ Crumple. He was getting all the run, getting all the catches. So now you have a true deep threat you have to worry about. That should open up some things under for some other receivers. Now, Cleveland, I'm still calling Baker Mayfield. He's my jokey Smurf. I'm telling you, something's gonna happen where he had a great game. He's gonna blow up in your face, sometime soon. Sure, he was the player of the week. He had 5 touchdown passes. Great job, Baker. But I just don't see him pulling it out, the way that he did last week. No more Odell Beckham towards ACL. He's out on a turnover on top of it. Also, you're gonna have Kareem Hunt, who is taking over a little bit for Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is a little injured right now, but their game is they run the ball, okay, and they should continue to run the ball. That's kind of how they built their offense, and you can only depend on Baker so much, and Baker's gonna get you, man. The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. I'm just saying, Baker's gonna get you. In Cleveland at 5-2. I'm calling for an upset on this. I'm looking for the Las Vegas Raiders to pull off the upset on this game.
I agree with you. I think the Raiders are chopping wood. They're trying to make the playoffs. As long as Derek Carr, as long as he stays away from that eye mascara, we'll be all right. I mean, he's got to stop wearing that eye mascara. I don't know what's going on there with Derek Carr, but we also have a good one. Pittsburgh Steelers, Big Law, the last undefeated team in the league, going to Baltimore. Did you know this? The last undefeated team in the league in each of the last 2 years and 3 of the past 5 years has reached the Super Bowl. I think the Ravens, though, have won 3 of the past 4. Now, Big Ben was out last year, but the Ravens add Yannick Ngakoue. This one falls on Lamar Jackson. Can he win the big game? That's what it comes down to, in my opinion. But shout out to Kevin Colbert. Not only has he reconstructed the best defense in the league, the best pass rush in the league, but don't look now. It's a whole new cast of characters for Big Ben. Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Eric Ebron. I mean, he's kind of just flipped this whole offense around. And then you've got Benny Snell has scored 3 touchdowns in the past 3 games. A perfect compliment to James Conner, who's, kind of doing it all there in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is really this could possibly be the AFC Championship preview here.
I had to take my glasses off for this one because this is the big game I've been waiting for, okay? And I've been waiting for this rivalry to come back, okay? Exactly. You have, all right, the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers going at it again, AFC North supremacy, 5-0, 6-0, 5-1. I think Lamar Jackson is a great, phenomenal, talented, multifaceted quarterback. I'm scared to death for him right now. He is the leading rusher for the team. I know Ingram, he's a little hurt right now, but I'm scared to death for him right now because Pittsburgh is back to the old Pittsburgh. They called it Blitzburgh. Blitzburgh is back. They're one of the top 5 teams in sacks, if not the top team in sacks. They are also stopping the run. I mean, they're getting after you. And then they got a ball hawking safety back there, Minka Fitzpatrick. So they have talent. I mean, they lost their talented linebacker this past week, but they still have playmakers at all different levels of their defense. So I hope. I mean, Baltimore did, like I said, added Yannick Ngakoue, and hopefully they can get some pass rush because that's what they've lacked is like a true fire off the edge kind of a pass rusher. They've had some good pass rushing, but typically Baltimore, they're going to give you some fire off the edge traditionally. So they do have the stud Patrick Queen from LSU putting in work, showing his talent, his speed, and how he works and taking over the mantle for Ray Lewis in the lineage of great linebackers in Baltimore. But I just don't see Baltimore and Lamar cracking the ceiling and Lamar getting his signature win. I could be wrong, but Pittsburgh's too deep, man. Pittsburgh has too much.
Well, I will say this. They got to lose at some time, right? They're not going to go undefeated. And Baltimore, has as good a chance as anybody. So we shall see. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo on the call there if you're into that kind of thing. I am not personally, but maybe you are. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman will have the NFC game of the week. That's the New Orleans Saints 4-2 at Chicago Bears 5-2. I think this one has NFC playoff ramifications. Not both of these teams are not going to both get into the playoffs, in my opinion. I'm not a firm believer in either one. I think Michael Thomas, there's some real concern inside the locker room. Will he be dealt by Thursday's trade deadline? The one good thing that the Saints have going for them is they've won 5 in a row against the Chicago Bears here. But Eddie Jackson, this is like one of the most underrated players in the league. 6 touchdowns on the defensive side of the ball over the past 3 years. Look out for Eddie Jackson. He could be kind of the X factor in this matchup. I'm going to take the Saints on the road here. I think they go into Chicago. That Bears offense, I mean, the Bears defense is solid, but that Bears offense is as bad as it is around the league. I think the Saints actually cruise in this one, Big Law.
Yeah, they got Cordero Patterson running the ball. He's a receiver. Okay? So that right there should tell you everything you need to know about a professional NFL team. If your receiver is running the ball for you, something's wrong. Something's not good. And I just don't see them doing anything special at offensive end. I mean, Nick Foles is only good when he has Tampa Tom across the way. And he's looked terrible. And it's almost like you go back to Trubisky, because at least Trubisky had some wheels. You know, he can at least scramble a little bit. And this offense needs as much help as they can get. I don't see them beating the Saints, regardless of what issues they got going on internally with Thompson. With the wide receiver, with Michael. But I'm just, feeling like the New Orleans Saints are going to go in there and win. And I don't think it'll be close.
I agree. And, I don't think the team rallies around Mitchell Trubisky like they do Nick Foles. I mean, Nick Foles just has the aura, but man, that on-field production, it has been bad.
What did remember the Water Boy, and then was it Henry Winkler? And they said, oh no, it wasn't Henry Winkler. It was the guy who had the ring, and he was like, "Trust me." Remember? Nick Foles, trust me, right? He has the ring. That's why they trust him. He's like, "What do you mean? Just trust me. I got the ring."
Well, hey, he's got one of the best nicknames in sports history, so I'll give him that one. Hey, let's go over what else. We have Sunday Night Football. We'll save for the last. What else, real quick here, Big Law? Any other games you want to talk about? Get off your chest. What are you going to be watching on Sunday?
Oh well, I'm going to watch that. Just those games. Waiting on that Pittsburgh game, Baltimore. Of course, Washington's not playing. I want to kind of check them out. They're on the rise. I want to see what else that defense does. They got the bye this week. Also, I'm interested in the Cardinals. They're on the bye as well. So I'm going to kind of reserve and wait to see what happens with these games. But, of course, the Eagles and Cowboys is a great dumpster fire of a game. I want to see who burns hotter, the Eagles or the Cowboys.
And it's the battle for first place here in the NFC league. That's the bad part, right?
That's right.
I mean, one of these teams is going to be in first place after this game.
Right. That's right.
And so, the Cowboys have actually won 4 of the past 5, but they've got Ben DiNucci. Who? Ben DiNucci from James Madison via Pittsburgh. First career start. He got into action last week when Dalton went out with that concussion. They really just kind of focused on him handing the ball to Ezekiel Elliott, which I think he'll do a lot of. But hey, DiNucci's got some wheels. He can scoot now. I had a chance to see James Madison this past year, and he's a confident, borderline cocky individual. So he's going to give you, get up and give you all this, and hey, we're moving the chain, and There's a Ben DiNucci. He's got a little flair to him. It'll be interesting to see how he does against this Eagle. I mean, Nick Foles' old team, by the way, but talk about a no-name offense. I mean, if this team makes the playoffs and has any kind of run, they're doing it with Boston Scott, Travis Fulgham, Greg Ward, a converted quarterback, and John Hightower, I think like a 7th-round rookie. This is like the ultimate no-name offense, but they're in the mix.
Yeah, they're in the mix. I mean, if you ask me right now who's going to win the division, I think the Eagles have the pedigree to do it. Trust me, they got the ring and all.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to seeing, and they have the best quarterback in the division. That always is a reason why teams win as well.
Sure.
So I think the Eagles can win. Dallas has shown nothing. They have shown nothing these past couple games, and it seems like they're just going and they're getting worse. Quarterback calling out players. Why didn't you stick up for Andy Dalton, who took a kill shot last week? It's bad over there, and the defense is one of the worst.
Validity, though. I mean, that's a valid point, though. They just kind of were like, huh?
They went like this. I was like, oh my god, they just let him take that shot. Your man's down there, head on the dirt. He can't even move. I'm like, oh wow. Damn.
Well, I think at the end of the day, Jerry Jones is a guy. He's not afraid to. I think McCarthy got a 4-year deal, but he's not afraid to blow it all up and say, "Get the hell out of here."
Yeah.
Do you think McCarthy survives this if it continues this way?
I don't know if they wind up being like 3-12 or 4-12. I think that Jerry Jones can definitely pull that trigger and get him out of there. I don't see where it would be I don't even see them turning around because I know they have Elliott. I guess they could try to pound Elliott, but they got 5 backup offensive linemen. So, where do they go? I know they have some weapons on the outside, but if you're 5 guys up front, 6 guys if you want to count the tight end, it's because the starting tight end's out. If you got 6 guys up front who can't protect and aren't great run blockers. Zeke hadn't had 100 yards this year, I don't think. I'm just not looking. I don't think that this team is destined, is set up to be good because the backups aren't good. You're obviously seeing what the issues are. They're top heavy. The top heavy team, meaning the salary cap is big up top. So the talent that's filtered through the roster is not good enough to sustain success because the youngsters that are there aren't ready. And if your starters get hurt, your big money guys get hurt, you're just out of luck. And I don't see them getting any luck anytime soon.
It's a shame. This was the best offensive line unit in the league just not too long ago, and it was completely falling apart. Hey, there you have it. It's been an hour of power here. Unbelievable how time flies on today's football weekdays, 9 a.m. Eastern. Brought to you by the NFLDraftBible.com. Make sure you go all access, subscribe, become a disciple today. Get your membership, get that publication, get the Scout Peek book, get all of our insider access. We bring it to you like nobody since 2002. It's what we do. Of course, Big Law, 7 City Shop Talk joins us here each and every Friday. Hit the people with the details for tomorrow, Big Law, for the folks that are just now tuning in and listening. What do you got?
Yeah, I will be covering the UVA UNC game at the Drury Plaza. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. I will be just doing a pregame, halftime, postgame, just based on what's going on for the game. And if you guys want to tune in, just tune in. Just catch my name, Lawrence Johnson, LAWRENCEJOHNSON. And also, you can look for me at 7 City Shop Talk. Look for me on Facebook there.
Or go join them in person. Tell them Rick sent you, and big first drinks on Big Law.
Yeah, you got to give me that company card, brother.
We got promos all over the place here today on State of Football. We'll be back at it again tomorrow for the NFL Draft Tailgate Show. That one's at 10 a.m. Eastern. All college football, all morning long. It's your college football pregame show with an NFL Draft slant. Of course, we'll be back.